welcome back to another video. In part 1, Hi made the top with the 7x7 flying machine in the store. Hi did say I was going to be doing this tutorial, the bottom tutorial with Brajef, but like, yeah, if you already built the top, if you built it on Synergy and it doesn't work, yeah, Synergy's bad and uses paper, but the server does not. So that the dust just messes up and has weird update order stuff. So either like on the server, if you have a setup like this, the server will always register the top ones and will never register the bottom ones unless you do the. Let me see if I can get it. If you do this trick, but on Synergy, it will do something like, if I just keep these two powered, move this, just do this, it'll do something like, it'll do weird stuff like this and have weird update order, so it just doesn't work on Syn. Also, I gotta lower my render distance so I can, no wonder I can't see because of speed running, so that's better. So, that's better. So, yeah, tutorial for the bottom. I guess I'll just show the opening and closing. I will obviously reset the ROM automatically. I'm just showing this again because I might have forgot. I don't know. I actually remembered where the lever was. There it is. So the thing that we're going to be building is the bottom, like I said many times already. The first thing we need on the closing is a worm to go upwards, and that's controlled by odd clocks over here. And then we need 2 piston tapes to happen at the right time based on 1 hopper timer. And then I'm going to reset the ROM automatically. So we're going to put this in there, move this one over, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, on the last. I'll just move all the items in there. I have no idea why I am lagging so much. No, lower my chunks. That's better. Ish. So that would be your closing, and then I actually went to the right side and be smart. Hi is also working on a new top, so when that time comes, then yeah, he will do the tutorial for that. And this is actually one of the things we're making right now is the tape. So this is actually going to be one of the worst parts to make because it's just so bad. It was so hard because we needed movable blocks in the right spot and everything was just so annoying. And also, the tapes are actually like this because that's why I don't even know if Hi even said this in his video. The reason why we have a piston tape like this is to avoid having septuple on the top. Or in this case, it would actually, I think, be an octuple. But, yeah. Be right back. So top's almost done, and then there's a secondary piston tape which grabs everything. It's like your normal observerless 5x5 type tape thing that's 2 blocks wide nowadays. And that's it. So let's get started on the bottom. So I did not make the inputs. I'm gonna point out what the lever is first of all. So we're gonna start with this door is layout size, by the way, so we're gonna have to remove some of these inputs because of minecarts, so just heads up for that. So you're gonna make this kind of alternating thing like so. And then you're gonna place dust on all of them. Now there is gonna be specific updaters that will be placed at some point, which I'm actually gonna do now, so let's go grab orange. And also on the closing, I'm just gonna remove this piston. Because this no block is what does the top closing, I guess, when you unflip the lever, and then the other part is controlled by a toggle here, because this does not fire in the opening and closing, because one, that would be too long, and two, it would be completely irrelevant, because it wouldn't do anything. So, yeah, there's two reasons for that. The next updater, Brudgeff actually made this part, and this is actually used for the, light blue circuit in this area to because we have to send all these 22 items upwards, and luckily because of how this works we get 22 pulses. So we just grab a light blue block, and then we'll get to light blue more later when the time comes. I'm going to place 2 rails there, and then one line above it like this. You place 2 rails. And then we'll get to how everything else goes in a second, but we now need to make the piston tapes, which I'm going to be looking back and forth because all the immovable blocks I don't like. So over on this side, we have a piston that goes, I'm trying to see where that goes because I'm dumb and I can't remember anything. It goes here. So this piston will go here, and then the piston will have an extra block gap to put this piston in. We're going to place this dummy block in, and then we're going to make the yellow circuit and the gray circuit afterwards. And then the rest of the tape is pretty self-explanatory. We have a normal piston here. Is that correct? I'm stupid, so I don't know. That is, and then this will match up with this observer, as you can see here. This piston and this observer. And it's important that these observers are placed like this, so this will face into this piston, this one will face this way, because of how the tape works. When the tape is cycling across, this observer, here I'll just show over here, it will be something like this in this position, but then when it cycles back down, this one will be coming in first, so that means it'd be cycling pretty much backwards like this. So it only gets fired from this observer. That's why this observer is here to fire the piston here, and this one's here to fire it here. So on the lower level, this observer is now here, and on the and this one is here, and the piston's obviously in the same spot. And that's why there's 2 observers, and that's actually the whole tape. For the top, now we have to get all the movable blocks in. Yeah. These actually, I will do these after, because these movable blocks kept causing lots of issues, and I don't suggest you remove them. So the bottom tape is actually really quite simple. It's basically a sticky piston down here, a regular piston here, as you can see in there, and then we're going to make an immovable thing here, and then on this side you're going to have a normal piston and a normal piston, and then you're also going to be I actually don't know because it's hard to see and I'm stupid. Yeah, so you're going to have an observer facing in this way, and this piston upwards. You need an immovable block here and an immovable block here. Very important. This is why it's why I hate this immovable block mess. The one I just placed, is really important because when there's going to be some stuff in here that will cause this piston, well, this piston will get moved the second this goes, like this, and obviously, we can't have it pushed down. I'm just going to place this piston for testing, because that. And I've had lots of issues with that. Now, I don't want to miss any movable blocks, because they're really annoying if you miss one and then it breaks. Okay. Yeah, I should check that I'm not missing anything. Okay, it doesn't look like it. Oh yeah, I am missing one extra one. But I think, yeah, I placed it. This obsidian is just for some extra stuff later for breaking, prevent breaking. Yeah, so those are the piston tapes layouts, and now we're gonna start building them. So we'll build this side. This trick I just took directly from Bedrock Edition because I saw it in a piston door, and well, they use cobblestone walls, but like I can use glass panes because I can color them, and yeah, that's why the hopper timer in here has line beds because that's cool. We're gonna have this now. This door has to be in the 1.16, sadly, even though I hate target blocks, blah blah blah. Because of this up here, we can just use 1.16, so just place any redirector here. If you use a trap chest, just don't, because that. And people will be really annoying. You can use a detector rail if you want. If people are added to your plot and you don't really trust them, don't make them do this. Tripwire you can't interact with it, other than put string and then trigger it, but like it's very simple, and you can even keep it in the volume by just placing an extra block, and now no one. And oh yeah, never mind. I'm just talking about irrelevant things. I'm actually dumb. I'm lagging. There's this hi. We're talking about something. And this actually is this side of the tape, so this is top tape done for the side. So basically what will happen is it's a way of not having a piston toggle. This glass pane literally just acts as a piston toggle. So if we just do this, you can see this gets a pulse, but because this needs as much delay as possible, I think, because this piston has to fire then this one, and we can't have that bottom piston push over too fast, because if this is literally a 1-tick repeater, this will literally power like 2 ticks, and this one might get cancelled or just get pushed across and break. So that's why this is on 4 ticks, but it still works. So it works with any block. So if we put a block in here, it does that. If we put, let's say, a piston, and if we put like an observer, you get the idea. It works. Next, the other side. So this side, this side's not that bad. It's actually quite simple. It's just this block here, with not cyan, yellow, and a no block. And that's actually the entire tape for the top. We can test it afterwards. So this piston will be extended for 1 tick because we're firing with a 1-tick pulse here. And this will get 2 pulses, but the first one will get blocked because of this piston head. But then when it retracts, this one gets pushed up. So that's also another reason why this is on 4 ticks. Because this actually gets more delay than it actually should have. But hard to deal with. So yeah, we'll get to gray now. So we'll start with the right side and work our way to the left. We use a very similar strategy that we used up here. We're going to use a glass pane here on this observer, and then this goes into a sticky piston. Now this is actually important that this is in the right state because there's been some issues with this. You have this, and then you have this. And then in a second I'm going to have to explain something else. So if this is down, then it will not work properly. So you'll see this will get pushed up, and then if there's a block in this, if this is down, if we just do this, you can see that this gets redirected, but it will only fire this one and it will never retract. So if I just do this, it got cancelled because of that movable block. So if I do this properly, you can see this falls down and this goes across. No matter what block it is, like I did up there. And it's also a way you can detect double pulses, so you don't need to have, well, an observer with a piston toggle. I'll build the other part after, but let's get into the part that Brudgeff made. So it's quite simple. It's actually quite finicky because, like, sometimes you can have weird observer clocks because of how this tape is. So this observer has to be out. Let's get a lamp. So this goes into this. And this is also one of those very similar things to what we have up here. This piston will get a 1 tick, but it will get blocked. This one will get blocked, but it will fire afterwards, well, because of this lamp. And this basically acts as an infinite clock, but like, because this will get, like, it will derp a lot, so like, this literally acts as an infinite clock, but this side's so fast it won't matter. And the way we're going to fire this is we're actually just going to use the floor like this for later, which we will actually soon get into. But first I need to explain this next part. So this next part, if you saw the showcase, you're probably like, what even is this? Looks so irrelevant, and it has like no purpose. It actually does. There's a specific part in the tape where we can't do anything about it, where if it's anything else, if we change it, it will be harder to do, but probably still possible, and that's this thing. This thing here just looks completely irrelevant. It is not, because if you watch the actual door, that's why there's a derp here, because when this sticky piston gets here, when the observer gets pushed in, it gets like weird detection. It does like 2 pulses up, and like piston blocks here, it goes like this, but then at the right time on this side, this will grab it down. But this is also very, very sufficient delay, because, well, when the piston's over here, it never gets a bud update. You might think, well, this might give it. Well, this starts the tape, so this only fires once, so it won't matter. So this buds this, but nothing happens. You'll never get an update, which is really nice. And that's actually both tapes completed, and now we can actually get to red. So red is the input circuit. Well, I already made part of it, the slider, but like we'll do that after. So the lever is located just like under here, so as you can see, it just lines up with that. I'm gonna grab hoppers. So this repeater, this 1 tick repeater, actually sits on a hopper timer, because, yeah, there's this torch in front of it. Now, this one thing I don't like about this door is that the lever is flicked down when the door is open. I prefer it to be flicked down when the door is closed and this to open it, because it's like off to open and then on to close for personal reasons. Also, something really cool about the door is that you can actually make it a block denser and do this. Yeah, well. So the lever would be flicked down the whole time, and we would be taking an output from that to go this way, which into this comparator, we need a bunch of delay here because of the top, and I think this could also be changed at the same time, but yeah. And then I just have 2 4 ticks like this, and that's actually part 1 of the input circuit. We'll get to the second part in a second. Actually, I'll do it now, because, yeah, we need a hopper pointed this way. It's important that it faces this way, because it'll be part of a hopper loop thing that is used, and this is actually what determines if orange fires or it doesn't. So this piston here will fire. Okay, actually, I think I have. I don't even know why that's there. Fine. I guess I don't know why that's there. This will go this way, and then to this piston. No, this is a commonly known trick. This has to be out, by the way. This retracting with a 1 tick pulse will not fire the piston, as you can see there, but only when it does this. But if this was like a 1 tick repeater or a hopper, and then an observer here, it would fire on both edges, and that's bad. Actually, it would not be bad, it's just you don't need this no block. I'm not sure, but fine. You can kind of, and then we kind of use some observer spam. So we do this. This has to get changed up a bit because of repeater stuff that sits on top of it, because of, well, timings. And then this goes like this, and this will go into this normal piston, which should be removed for you guys, because it will be spamming a lot when we do orange, which will actually be the circuit we're going to get into now. Actually, once we have this observer like this, So in this hopper, we're placing a hopper here, because, well, if it's actually, no, never mind, I am dumb. It's not a hopper. It used to be, but it broke. We have a piston here, and this. I messed up everything. I suggest you place movable blocks. Or what I'm just gonna do to be lazy is just use extended piston heads because I don't want to go grab the obsidian block from my inventory. Lol. So when this is unflicked, this will go down. Track this because this sends updates because when hoppers are locked or unlocked, they send updates into this piston, which will extend it for a 1-tick pulse, and into this. This will retract, but like I said, this is a toggle, so this chain won't fire, and this piston will fire at the right time via the nope block. And then on the other edge, it won't fire because this will be extending, not retracting, sending updates through hoppers. This time it will extend, and then this will fire into the piston here. And that's pretty simple. So now let's get into actually my favorite circuit in the whole door, orange, because it's a dropper loop. Yeah. So this 4-tick repeater can definitely probably be shortened to like a 2-tick. I would not trust it and test it, but yeah. So you probably want to really even go from here. We go into this dropper, and we need we actually have to make a slider. Sorry, we have a perfectly we have a slider here. Now, you could use a burnout, but burnouts can sometimes be inconsistent and be really dumb, and you have to have no blocks. But while doing this, it was like that, so I use observer clocks. And it happens to be that observer clocks were the solution. Because observer clocks act like burnouts. They can be toggled on or off. They can also not get updated. They cannot get updated when someone gets gives them an update, and also they're always consistent. So yeah, so we're gonna make this kind of staggering power. So if I just show you as a demonstration, you can see it does this, and at the right time this will push down after sufficient delay. Now just for testing, I'm just gonna pull this up. So we actually need to remove some stuff. So I'm gonna use Wall Edit to do this. You don't need to. Well, if you don't have access to it. If you don't have access to it, then you can just remove these blocks. It would be easier if you remove an extra row as well. /undo, I'm just gonna do this. It's better if you just remove all of them, like up to this point, but so you can actually place the minecarts. So we need to get from this dropper all the way to this hopper, which sits right under this piston. Now this also means we have to go through the piston stack, which makes things a lot harder. So we're going to use a cool trick here to get this minecart in, that does not use soul sand or anything else. You don't need to use the rail clip and push in between two blocks. It's very simple. You roll a minecart here, and then very quickly, and somewhat not quickly, you put the minecart on the rail. This minecart will nudge it upwards, and at the right time when you break the rail, it'll clip into the hopper. Now this minecart is not the right minecart. It's better if you remove that dropper. This has to be a hopper minecart, so you roll like a hopper minecart down, and do that. It does not have to be as fast as what you normally do. And also, you're probably wondering, well, wouldn't the sticky piston clip the minecart out? No, that is not possible. Well, this minecart here, the highest it can be is pushed up into a chain, I believe. No, that is not true. Pushed up with a soul sand, and this has to be sitting on an exact perfect block in order for it to clip up. So if it's sitting on a path block, I thought I moved that, but it clipped in the hopper and it gets blocked by these. When if it sits on a path block, this piston cannot clip it up. This has to be sitting on an exact 1x1 full block. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We're gonna get out some more minecarts. We need one to go from this dropper to this hopper. It is much better to push it in, I believe, this way than to push it across this way. I'm not sure, I can't remember. because I'm stupid and I don't remember things. So you can see this goes into here. If this minecart does not work, push it the other way and then it will. So that's most of the minecarts done. We still need 2 more. We need to drop an extra one. Now this minecart can be anything. You can use regular minecart, chest minecart, hopper minecart. I suggest you don't use a TNT minecart, because don't. Yeah. I don't use a furnace minecart because you can't really do anything to it. Like, I'm trying to do stuff, I'm right clicking. Now, I'm actually thought I added rails. And then this, just based on like orientation stuff, this minecart might be facing this way or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just because of how we pasted it in, it's like this. And you do in fact have to push this block in because you can't place it. And this minecart is actually here to prevent this chest minecart from moving upwards. Now, this minecart is inside this block. This chest minecart is inside this block, so it would get like clipped upwards and moved, and then the loop would not work. So that's why this is here. And you're probably wondering, where is the last minecart? It will go from this dropper to this, and we're gonna use a very similar trick to what we did before. But before we do that, just remove these. I'll get the obsidian out after. We need to get everything back in. So the way I suggest you do this is, how would I do this? That block's not supposed to be there. You're gonna try to like alternate like this, and we'll push all the blocks in. Now I could just use world edit for this, so I'm just gonna show you how to do one stack. You only really need to do this one row, and you can place everything else normally. This one might be a bit tricky, but if you can get it, that's good. To get these 3 blocks in, what you can do is remove this vortex repeater and then place these sticky pistons in here, and then use it like levers and buttons. I'm using levers from now on, because yeah. And those just make it so the minecarts can't move. And it just makes, and then you can just fill everything up like this. Everything's a-okay. Now I'm just gonna butterfly click because it's faster, and do this. And I'm gonna put the obsidian on top, like so. There we go. So that is, I guess, all the dropper loop except for one extra part. We need to get from this dropper to this hopper. And the way we're going to do that, it's kind of specific, because just like over here, where this piston cannot clip up this minecart, in this case it will, because this, actually I'm not sure if it will, I think I just placed it, I'm not sure. So, you do this, and then you clip it upwards, so it's inside. I think this is too high, I think. Too high. It kind of works. Kind of have to do it in a way where you can still place a slab here, because the piston is actually here, and this will move it up no matter what. So if you do it quick enough where you can still place a slab, it will just hit the slab, but it will never leave this hopper, which is perfect. And this dropper will put the item into this minecart, and sadly you do have to push this observer in. I have to use sticky piston. 0 ticket, I think. Oh, I prefer sticky pistons. That actually does the whole loop. For one half of it, we still have to return all the items. That is pretty weird because of sufficient delay, and also I think this could probably operate. I don't know if it's been patched or anything. But yeah, you can see there's just a bunch of hoppers here. Lol. So it's pretty simple how this works. You're going to start with a hopper here, and that's why this faces into there. Then you're going to place one that faces, so you're going to aim at this hopper here, like this. Then you're going to aim at this one here, to put this one, aim at this one, put this in, and then do this. So this is actually the whole loop. You're just missing one extra minecart, which is this one, which is just a very simple one, and it will do that. So that is the whole drop loop setup. This dropper will get fired whenever the observer clocks are going. You can see it will get bud from this, but the dust lines and piston, you can't test it without the pistons. It's not gonna work. The pistons will in fact update this, and in the actual door, like I showed you earlier, this dropper, if you look on the right side, will never be triggered true or false because it just gets enough updates where it will not matter. And also, even if it did get, even if it was triggered true while the door is still opening, the blocks getting moved down from the piston taste will update it. So it will never matter whatsoever, which is really nice. And then next comes the painful part. For most people, if you don't like observer spam, well, this is your worst nightmare, because you have to do this. It's like this because, so originally, this observer here was a hopper, and this one was a 2-tick, but now it's a 4-tick observer, because we can't get more delay in this space here, because there's just no room. Well, there probably is, I don't know how, but this is only because because of light blue, we need to send 22 pulses into this dropper, and originally, with that hopper and 2-tick, it gave 20, and every 2 ticks you add, it will do an extra item. So just by adding this ob and then making this a 4-tick just worked perfectly. So, and also, that also makes it so if originally we had it in a way where it'd give 21 items, we left it in this position at the bottom, but then because of it being weird, it does this, which is the same exact state as what 20 items were, which is actually really amazing. So this actually should be olive orange, I think. Now, to test it, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set up a small replica over here. Now, to know if it works, you know what, let's just test the whole door. Not the whole door, but you get the idea. Let's just try a couple rows. So just remove these. I will only try the rows that... I'll try like these 3 rows. I'm not gonna do the row that only has minecarts in it. So I'll do this. And you can do this. Actually, no, that is not true. We actually have to do all of them because the updaters. Actually, no, we do not. Let's just do all of them. If you broke it, sorry, you have to put it back. I'm just gonna use world edit. I was not prepared for this because I just wanted to get this out. And yeah. / stack out of 7 4. There we go. Okay. You can also place this. Never mind. So let's try this. The way you're going to test this is you're not going to unflip this. Actually, we can't because that piston's removed, so it won't fire at the top. Oh, I'm dumb. We are missing an item in this dropper here, so we'll just stop it there. I'll let it keep it running, and I'll stop it at the right time. I'm going to use this, and I'm just gonna have to pulse into it. Move this. Never mind. Okay, so if you tested that, that is okay. You can actually. We'll fire the top to reset it after. Actually, we won't. Never mind. So you just need to put a single item in this dropper, and that's it. And you can see, if we check this, you can see on the side it says triggered false, which is fine. I can't do this properly. If we fire this properly, you will see that after perfect delay, it will derp, but it will still start again. And that's only because this will never get more than 1 pulse, so it just works. And this gets 22 pulses, which is nice. And so that is the whole closing. Now, you can just push this back in, like we did before. I'm just going to use world edit to push this back in. I think I can just remove this 4-tick if you want to use world edit. / move, I think 7. / do. / move 6. There we go. That works. So that is the entire closing for the bottom. We now have to deal with the opening. And you're probably wondering, you have like no space. A, that's kind of true, and B, that is not true. Originally, what we're going to do is make it so both tapes have a hopper timer, but it's better if one of them is fully automatic and stops on its own, and one of them just runs on a hopper timer, because that's more room. And the issue is, we can't have a hopper timer like this or whatever, which would actually make everything so much easier, because when these pistons move up, it would get fired from this and break. And it would break all update orders, so it would actually break more than what you think it would. So that's why we have to take some extra precaution and make sure nothing powered badly. Same thing up here. We couldn't have a detection like this, because the issue was when the worm would move up, it would be detecting this, firing this block, messing it up the tape down here, the worms, because this was being powered and messing up update order. So we have to make it in a way so that it would only fire when the tape is going and nothing else. That was a mouthful. We're going to start with this piston. This piston is actually a connection piston, so this piston will actually be used twice. So this acts as a falling edge, so this will be on for a really long time because the hopper timer, and then when it turns off, it'll get a pulse. And this piston will get another pulse to reset magenta, which is going to be the first of the tape circuit to control. So we're going to start with this. This is a hopper ROM that's going to increase signal strength. So this tape needs 22 pulses. That is why there's 22 items in here. You could, in theory, put like a bunch of items. You could maximum put 30 items in here, and put 30 items in. Well, you can make. So the way that this works is that whatever signal strength this is equal to, this will give double that amount of pulses. So if we get magenta, I think this actually has to be a slab. I can't remember. It does not actually. So we're going to take an output from here, and luckily there's actually enough room here. And this actually has to be a slab, I think, because this will be butted here, and if this ever gets an update, which I think it will break, because the top will fire more than once. We can then start doing some observer stuff. So we can do 2 observers and a piston, and this is to fire the top and control the top tape. So you can see that it goes like this, and then like this with 2 dust. This will fire the top tape. So the way this works is if we check the F3 menu, we put a comparator here, once I actually put items in it. So you're going to grab some snowballs, or 16 stackable items. You can see this can only stack up to 16. I am right clicking, and it's not working. You need to put 3 stacks and 10. This is signal strength 11, sorry. You can see in the F3 menu on the right side is power 11. This is because whatever signal strength this is one of those ROMs, which I don't even know who came up with this, or if it's Everman came up with, otherwise I've created this. Well, basically what happens is, this gets pushed across. Slowly these snowballs will be, well, I didn't come up with snowball ROM, just the idea of it sending back and give double its pulses. So slowly these snowballs will be increasing signal strength to this over time, increasing this to 1, 2, and blah blah, all the way to 15 at most, which is just a full hopper. When this gets to a certain pulse, so what we do is we take a detection like this. Now if this was in Bedrock Edition, we could do this, but we can't. So we take an output like this. So when all these items are gone, this will refire this piston again. Like I said before, this will get fired to pull it back again. This is also why when the tape does the first 11 pulses, the 12th one, it happens really, really fast because of delay. So this will trigger this to be signal strength 11, This will turn off because there's no more items in here. Firing this will pull back again. This will turn back on, and then it will do the next 11 just because of this turning off. So it's 11 on, 11 off, that in fact equals 22, and that is what we need. You can in fact fill this up, and you can get 15 and then 15 off, 15 on, 15 off, and then you get 30 pulses. If you need more than 1 pulses, you can just chain these up or whatever, I don't know. Also, another reason why it's like this and this being observed in a block is that this piston will be butted and it will mess everything up. So yeah, and then this will fire this as a toggle. So this piston acts as a way to fire this piston, but also as a toggle at the same time. This will go fire like this, pull back up from this 4 tick. When this comparator turns off, it will go down. And that's also why these 2 ticks are important, because of delay from this, and also for this as well, because we can't have 2 pulses happen sequentially after each other really quickly, because it'd break, because the tape would mess up and it would get blocked on this side and mess up, like I said many times. So this will go down, get a 1 tick. This will start returning items, but then it will pull back up because this is a 1 tick and not anything more. So it's big brain time. And the bottom is almost done. So we now need to do the last circuit, which is actually an okay circuit. We need to do light blue. So we're going to start with a 2 droppers like this, facing, so it's like an RS Snorlash type thing. And then you're going to put 22 items inside, so I'm going to do something like this. Next, we're going to grab some stuff. We need a comparator here. Now, I made a mistake. This actually has to sit on an observer. Be right back. Okay, I am back. I will probably try to cut that part out. So continuing, we need actually some sufficient delay because of, well, we have to wait for the next tape toggle. We need this to cycle for the last time, because if the bottom tape fires too fast, it's going to break. So that's why we have this has to be a 1 tick, it cannot be anything else, because this has to act as a toggle. So this block actually has to be up, sorry. And that's also really good about this door, is that this being up also makes it so when the pistons are moving up here, this cannot be directional. And it firing this piston here, like that, when the block is here, which is completely fine. So when the all items move up, this will go down, not sending an output, but then when all these items leave, which will be controlled by this, because this gets 22 pulses, 22 items. When the last one's gone, this gets a 1 tick. This will act like a regular monostable. This goes into a 2 tick, into some observer spam for delay. So this is also why this is here. So we need to add a 2 tick, a 2 tick, and then to save an extra tick delay, well, we can't, because this with the retract, it will break this repeater. So this goes to this and that. And that should be the whole bottom. So in order to test this, I suggest you don't test this, because if it breaks, it will mess up. Now, I also did realize one thing, that lever is in the wrong state. So to prevent everything from breaking, actually, it should not break. Yeah, because it's only controlled by this. So we're going to have to do some hopper timer stuff in here, but when we get to that, we will do it. Also, we are missing this block. So I would not suggest testing it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to fire this manually with this. And just to make it act like the actual door, we're just going to have this lever. Don't flick it. So everything looks fine. I'm not sure. So let's just check everything. There's an item there, nothing there. We'll put this piston in last to test the whole door out. So I guess here we go. You can see this retracted. And you can see there's now 22 items in here. And then this would be on from a hopper timer in here. which we'll do last. And then on the opening, don't unflick that yet, because we have to put all the blocks into the right state. So if you're doing this by hand, you're going to push it downwards in a bunch of rows, like this, all the way until you reach this position. So you're going to push it down 3, because, actually, 1, 2, yeah, 3. So you're going to push it down to this position, so the tape can cycle at the lowest point here, and then you can do all of them at once. So you're going to do 1 push, you do a second one, and then you're going to do a third one. And this is completely done by the top, which we will get to after, and hook it up. So once you're in this position, I don't suggest you test this, because if it breaks, that's sad. You can unflip this lever and just hope it works. So you can see the tape's now cycling. So it does the first pulse, and you can see this is also slowly decreasing, because this fires this. And you can also see this is slowly running out of items, changing the signal strength. And when that turns off, you'll see the toggle basically kicks in and makes it really fast. You can see there it is. The items are still going, 9, 8. And also, when the top tape is completely done, you can actually remove these blocks, because these blocks are technically from the top. So that's why this is actually not going to work properly. Because we're actually, see this last pulse, and then this tape will go. I am the smartest man alive. I can't believe I actually am that stupid. This has to be sticky. SMH. So yeah, the whole bottom works, it's just I'm stupid and I cannot redstone properly. So we're just gonna push these down, because these blocks are technically from the top. And then we can fill this. So the bottom in theory works, it's just I'm stupid and I cannot redstone. And the last thing we need to do is just do other things actually. We need to get 30 items in this hopper timer. Like so. And then the last thing we need to do is this piston. Now, Hi should already know that the top works, so yeah. I'm about to test the door. I don't suggest you should, because it might break. Everything should be good based on what I tested. Also, just another piece of proof, you can see this is no longer triggered false, and because of wedding. So we'll try out the whole door. I'll show you how to reset the ROM afterwards. You can see the 22 items are in there. This is extended because of these. Now this is not what you have to, you don't have to wait for this. You actually have to wait for, well, this. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab all this, if you did flick it and did not listen to me. And once this is up to 30, you're going to do this, then you're going to put this back in, then the bed, then the floor, then this, then this, then this. And this just makes it so you can skip time, otherwise, sadly, you can't do anything about it. And because of this hopper timer taking a really long time, at the right time the bottom tape will fire. So, I guess we could try the door. If you flipped it earlier and you didn't listen to me, then that's not my problem. So now we can do this. You can see that goes, and then those 30 items have now started the tape. Now, the ROM items up there and this tape items can definitely be optimized. I am not going to be the one who does that. because, like, yeah, you can do that on your own. Also, one more thing, I also have to mention another thing about this top tape. It only matters at this position up here. The blocks will get jumbled, the blocks will swap in the door because of how the piston moves, so like, the piston here, in this position, here, will push down the blocks, but, like, it will, like, you just block swap the door because of it pushing down only certain blocks, but not every single block, because of how the tape cycles. So that's just another cool thing. So the door does actually block swap. I'm not sure how many states there are. There probably is around more than 10 states because of how it cycles. But it's not an issue at all. So you can see the door's almost done. I should also mention how this gray tape stops. If we have a piston here, when a regular block goes in, it does this, but when an observer gets pushed in, it gets a double pulse. So if I just do this, it will get 2 pulses because the observer pushing in will update this, but also it turning on will also get 2 updates. And you can also use that in conjunction with a setup like this. I'm just gonna and do double pulses, which are really nice. So that is the whole door. You can test it now if you actually listen to me. And if yours works and you didn't listen to me, congratulations. Yeah. So this video was quite short. There's not much to explain for the bottom. It's just a piston worm and then 2 piston tapes that are controlled by 1 piston tape. So that's the whole door done. It's not that complicated. It's just the size of it. Oh yeah, one more thing. This door, took about 1.7 years worth of progress because I started a design in a single player world that was going to be sub 1,000 at 968 blocks, but I couldn't get a bottom sequence, so I ditched it like 12 million times. And then like, I told Hi, I have a layout, let's continue this door. And yeah, we went with 3 wide. More piston doors are coming soon. After this tutorial, I will be probably just uploading speedruns, me in survival, just speedrunning, making resin contraptions, and maybe some other resin contraptions. If you want tutorials for anything, challenges for me, let me know in the comments, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, remember Brudgeff cannot be here, it's sad. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed and like my skin. I will see you in the next video, which might be a while from now, because secret projects. Okay, I wish I'll be opening and closing one more time, so goodbye. Oh yeah, I will also mention one more thing. Pi is making a new top, like I've said before, he will be showing that, and yeah. If you built this door on Synergy and didn't listen to me, well, and it broke, not my problem. So I hope you... Oh, I'm about to break everything. Because I am certified genius. I've broken everything. I have broken everything. I am so smart, Blooper.